This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with a huge update related to the Three Eye Atlas mystery interstellar object. And we saw Ross Coldheart take some shots at Avi Loeb, one of my favorite people in the world, professor at Harvard. He's going to be on Joe Rogan tomorrow, brilliant astrophysicist. Now Jeremy Corbell, the fake fighter karate yoga guy who is best known for riding George Knapp's coattails, is now taking some shots at Avi Loeb. I don't know if he's jealous that he's getting more attention than him in the media lately or what, but he says it's absolute nonsense, what Avi Loeb has been speaking about. And he says it's going to be a comet that passes by Earth and life is going to go on. So there's some heavy words from that dork. Now let's take a look at Avi Loeb's latest article on medium.com and go over some of this nonsense that he's talking about. Let's just go over the 8 points, the 8 surprising qualities, why it might not be a comet, and why, with all the goofy stuff that Jeremy talks about, he has done some good research on some things, but he does talk a lot of stuff that's pretty far out there. These are some pretty good points on why we should be paying attention to this. Not to mention that the International Asteroid Warning Network has initiated a campaign to monitor it, which is a pretty good sign that there's something unusual about this, because this has not happened with a quote unquote comet before. But let's look at Avi Loeb's points here. Its trajectory is aligned within 5 degrees with the ecliptic plane of the planets around the sun, with a likelihood of 0.2%. See here. There's more details of it there. And I mean, I'm not okay. Sorry. Well, I'll go to that page after. He goes on to say in July and August 2025, Three Eye Atlas displayed a sunward jet anti-tail that was not an optical illusion from geometric perspective, unlike familiar comets. So it displayed an anti-tail, unlike familiar comets. Number three, its nucleus is about 1,000,000 times more massive than Oumuamura's was, or Oumuamua. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but that was the first interstellar object, an object from another solar system that came in. And it was 1,000 times more massive than the second interstellar object that came in. Its arrival time was fine-tuned to bring it within tens of millions of kilometers from Mars, Venus, Jupiter, and unobservable from Earth at perihelion, which is going on right now. He said with a likelihood of 0.005%. Goes on to say the gas plume around Three Eye Atlas contains much more nickel than iron, and a nickel to cyanide ratio that is orders of magnitude larger than half of all known comets, including the second interstellar object. Goes on to say the gas plume contains only 4% water by mass, a primary constituent of familiar comets. Three Eye Atlas showed extreme negative polarization, unprecedented for all known comets. Finally, it is arrived from a direction concurrent with the radio wow signal to within 9 degrees. So there is some of the points why he thinks we should be paying attention to this. And again, I don't know why Jeremy Corbell is so jealous of him or what his issue is, but he's saying he believes there's a 4% chance it's technological. Avi Loeb does. That's a pretty big chance. but he's saying there's a 6% chance right now that it isn't. And let me go into what he said on a Boston radio station today. He said it's behind the sun right now. We can't see it. He says this weekend, and this might be another reason why Corbell is jealous of him. He's having a race car with his face and the 3i Atlas on it this weekend. And he mentioned on this radio show that the 3i Atlas is moving 600 times faster than a race car. It can do what a race car driver does in an hour in 1 second, to give you an idea of how fast it goes. It is flying behind the sun right now. NASA had a very high resolution picture taken of it on October 2nd, and they have not released that picture. There's another big flag of something weird. They are using the excuse that the government shutdown is why. But what Avi Loeb said in another interview yesterday was the person in charge of reviewing that for NASA is a professor at a university in Arizona, and he's sure that person has seen it. Who know? I would guess Avi Loeb knows more than your average person about this with his contacts. The International Asteroid Warning Network, which is related to the United Nations, is going to be watching this object closely, and they've said this publicly between November and January. I believe November and January 27th. There is a possibility that it could be alien. We have launched a bunch of stuff towards other possible civilizations. So why is it so unbelievable that someone else is doing this to us? He also says you can't forecast what direction it's going to go if it is technological, because it will have control over its trajectory if it does have control over it. So we can't predict. All we do know is December 19th, in theory, it's supposed to be going closer to Earth. And it comes out from behind the sun, in theory, October the 29th. He believes that we should observe what it does before we make conclusions on it, like the conclusion Corbell is making right now, saying it's a comet, everything's going to go back to normal. Okay, well, should we just ignore this based on Jeremy Corbell's opinion, the karate yoga guy that likes to act like he's some sort of tough guy? Avi Loeb is married, by the way. And I didn't even know this. He said on this Boston radio station that Justin Trudeau has been dating Katy Perry, apparently. I didn't even know that. I guess I've been out of Canada a while now. The other thing is where Avi Loeb is just saying why we should pay attention to this is, if it is another civilization observing us, wouldn't they want to disguise themselves so they can do it without us knowing? But there's a very good chance we do know. Someone's bringing up what is the reason for NASA not telling us or not showing us the Mars pictures. They're saying it's the government shutdown. That's been over 3 weeks now. They have not released the Mars pictures. So there's strange stuff going on. Someone brings up a channeler. I mean, that's pure hearsay. And again, you're saying that's for fun. Yeah. And I'm just saying I think Avi is brave for doing this. He's an incredibly smart guy. And I do think we should be paying attention to this. And who would have thought me, a wrestler, would be so interested in astronomy, where I've been watching, and there is a lot of false information out there, but I've been watching hours worth of stuff about the 3i Atlas every day. So he's getting me interested in astronomy. Someone even mentioned to me today they couldn't believe some of the stuff they were hearing me talk about, stuff that I've taken an interest in recently because of people like Avi Loeb. And I do think we should pay attention to this. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments. But when the UN is keeping an eye on it, I mean, there might be something to it. I sincerely hope, though, don't get me wrong, I hope that it's not aliens, because there's just as good a chance that it could be bad as it could be good. It could go either way. So I would rather it just hightail it out of there. But either way, I would say there's a good chance this thing is, no matter what, I would say this object is monitoring us. I would say whether it stops here or not, if it is technological, at the very least, it's monitoring us and taking information. So that's why I'm interested in it. And yeah, Jeremy's not really impressed that Avi made his joke about take your vacations before October 29th. Lighten up, pal. Get a life and get your nose out of George Knapp's butt.